Welcome once again back to the lab. It is your old Professor Pilk, and of course we have a new raid incoming, and we need to talk about this. It's about a week later than I honestly expected it to show up, but it is here. We are going to be fighting Salamence, but once again, shout-outs to sarahb.net for the information on this. And I'm a bit shocked to see it's a flying type. Doesn't seem very creative. But if you think about it, actually, honestly, Salamence has a lot that he can bring to the table defensively, or I say offensively, to kind of combat any of that flying type defense. So if you're thinking about running rock, you might want to look into what you're weak to. And electric, oh, don't even think about it. So we're going to have to really come up with a solid strategy for this one, because I think this is going to be a very, very tough one. With access to a decent number of water moves, flying moves, dragon moves, and even earthquake, things like that. We are potentially looking at another situation, kind of like where the first Charizard raid, when he first came around, where there's 8 total moves that really are going to put the hurting on you. So this could be a challenging one. Now, this is going to be kicking off here later on this week. For those of us that are on the East Coast, it's like 8 p.m. Thursday night. They do believe they say midnight UTC, whatever that is your time. I really expected this last week, but you know, it'd be what it be. So Salamence is going to be a flying type. So let's talk about the weaknesses and the things that you're going to want to bring to the table first and foremost, and then we'll do a deeper dive later on this week. We'll really talk about it. So number one, defensively, flying types, you're really looking like ice types. Electric is an option, or rock. But like I said, with electric, with access to earthquake, I think that's a really bad move right there. Rock, on the face of it, is probably the number one that I usually think of when I think of fire types. But you do have a number of moves that are going to make that just completely inoperable. Number one, ground. Once again, like the earthquake completely knocks out your ability to use rock or to use electric. So having earthquake's immediately going to shore all that up. So that's definitely a problem right out of the gate right there. So I think earthquake's a no-brainer here. Now, which dragon move, which flying move, we're going to have to go look at that. Probably acrobatics for flying, but we'll kind of have to cover that once again in its own right. And that does kind of bring up the question mark of ice types. So we're really looking fighting, rock, fire, and steel for that. And I really think he's got one of each of those. He's definitely got some steel moves. He's definitely got I'm sure he's got fire moves. There's going to be a number of situations here where I really think this is going to be another one of those where you may very well have to kind of come at this with an unorthodox build. You're just going to have to kind of eat some early damage. And just like with our prior raid, this is a Pokemon that has a lot of offense. 145, let's see, actually it's Mega Salamence. 135 regular physical attack, and even special attacks up there at 110. So we could see physical attacks and special attacks. Both defense and special defense are 80 base power 80. Speed is power 100, so once again, pretty fast Pokemon, and I'm sure he's got access to moves that will increase that speed quite a bit. So all said and done, I think this is going to be a tough fight. You really don't want to let him have the speed advantage, but it's going to be a hard thing to beat. You really don't want to let him have an offensive advantage, but once again, if you want to do super effective moves, that might be a problem. Good news is his HP isn't that high, but, HP 95 with defense 80 and special defense 80. I mean, these are pseudos for a reason. They are very potent Pokemon and going to be very hard to take down. So we'll do a deep dive later on this week, probably on Tuesday, about what this Pokemon brings to the table, what you might do to combat it. And then obviously Thursday, when this kicks off, I will go ahead and drop a video where we do our solo run on it. I think we've got several in the kind of our repertoire that we could probably take on here that are going to be really good for him. But do bear in mind, once again, he is a flying Terra type, which makes him pure flying defensively. So if you're thinking about taking him on as a dragon, you're barking up the wrong tree there. You really want to look at this as a pure flying Pokemon once you see that terrestrialization. Now, the good news is, like with every other situation before, you do have basically you do have stellar Terra types at your disposal, so you can use a Terra type, or I'm sorry, you can use moves that make you offensively super effective, but Pokemon that will make you defensively, I guess, resistant. So we'll talk about, once again, all of that here later on this week. But for now, Flying Star Salamence dropping on Thursday. Be here for that. We'll talk about it. Like, share, comment, and I'll see you guys again real soon for more.